Hey everyone, Cerebral Tackle back with you again today. I put a little post in my community tab asking who all would be interested in knowing why I'm done with bass pro shops. In my opinion, 81% is a resounding majority. If you voted no, I still love you and I hope you stick around and watch anyway. I think it's information people need to have. It's about my own experience with the place and, well, third time's a charm, man. 3 strikes and you're out. First, a little disclaimer. Did you know I once worked at bass pro shops? Sure did, in loss prevention. You know what? Loved it. Had a great time there. Worked alongside some amazing folks. Built a lot of great relationships. Had a great time. Back in the day, a long time ago, they offered product knowledge courses to all their employees. Even loss prevention, which we weren't going to be out selling stuff, we still got the opportunity to participate. Product knowledge was like when they would have reps come by from different rod companies, reel companies, electronics, camping gear, fishing, you name it. And they would teach the employees about the products they would be selling. That way, they actually had a knowledge base to work with whenever they were trying to lead customers in the right direction. It was fantastic. I had never seen a company do that before. I was highly impressed. And the fact that they even offered those opportunities to us in loss prevention, who were kind of either behind the cameras or undercover on the floor, that just shows what a fantastic company they were. Me, getting to work around fishing gear, getting discounts, loved it. The only reason I left was because I was actually offered a management position, my own store in loss prevention, with a different company. So it was just a better opportunity, and it's kind of what I need to do at that moment. Even then, I maintained great relationships with the folks that I worked with. Kept in contact with them for a long time, for years, until, people start filtering in and filtering out. And finally, the crew that was there I didn't know anymore, so there was no one there to keep in contact with. Another thing I always maintained from the start was my Bass Pro Shop's rewards points account. Oh, outdoor rewards. Love me some sweet outdoor rewards. At some point throughout the years, I started noticing what I thought was kind of a lack of product knowledge, where things just weren't as good as it used to be. And some of the selection and merchandise had changed for the good, some for the bad. It just didn't have that same feel of the awesome store I was a part of when I worked with Bass Pro. Then, down the line, 2020 hit, and we all know what happened in 2020. The workforce finding people that were willing to risk their lives to be out in public was hard to do, and I get that too. I have a bad immune system, and as you guys know, my wife has MS, so we completely get that. But this is where I think things started going downhill for every retail establishment. It's kind of what I call the fast food effect. It's where folks that were only qualified to do a certain level of work started getting promoted and getting better jobs that they weren't necessarily qualified for, because those other jobs couldn't find the people that were qualified to work them, no matter how much money they threw at them. This, I think, has kind of become a trend worldwide when it comes to customer service. And as I found out the other night, I think it's finally hit Bass Pro Shops too. Because as we all know,
they you at the drive-thru, okay? They at the drive-thru. They know you're going to be miles away before you find out you got okay?
This brings us to the event of the other evening. My wife and I were getting my mobility scooter fixed out of town, and we were not too far from a Bass Pro Shop, so why not waste a little time, slip in there, and take a little gander. I selected a handful of items, got up to the front of the store, was ready to leave. My back was killing me. Being on my mobility scooter for a long period of time hurts me tremendously, leaves me in a ton of pain. I get up, lay my items on the counter, the nice cashier rings everything up. I said, "So, how much do I have in points?" She looks at the screen and says 0. I said, "What?" Immediately I feared the worst, that someone had hacked an account and taken all my points. Now, I've been building up points for a long period of time. This particular time there wasn't an S-load right there at this moment, but I mean, it was about $45. I told her, "Hey, there must be some kind of mistake. What's going on here?" And she said, "Well, they expire." News to me. I never got anything via email or in the mail itself that said that there's been a change to the policy that they suddenly expire. But she says, no, they expire in like 1 or 2 years. Like 1 or 2 years? Is it 1 or is it 2? And do they expire from the date of purchase or from like a date of inactivity on the account? No answers for that, right? I had a feeling she was wrong, and a quick review of their website under their general practices and rules for the rewards accounts, it clearly says, points do not have a scheduled expiration date, and there is no maximum number of points that can be earned. Right there in black and white, and of course I added a little yellow highlighter, to get the point across. So they were clearly wrong. I was issued back over to like their little rewards and club desk to try to get things straightened out. There was a very nice gentleman that actually helped my wife inside the store with a mobility scooter. He was one of the shining spots of the whole evening. He looked it up and said, no, I see your points right here. They're still here, and let me add those from tonight's purchase. I felt a bit relieved. However, forgive me if I wasn't still a little bit nervous, right? Because one person said the points are there, one person says they weren't. I didn't want to lose my 45 bucks. So I asked him if we could do what I've done before, which is take the rewards points, transfer the balance to a gift card. That way I could know for sure they were in safekeeping and that some flub in their system wasn't going to magically erase the points I had earned. Here's where things really go off the rails. I was issued over to the customer service desk. They said, we've never done that before, and yes, your points do expire. And your certificates expire too. Whoa. Certificates? I don't know if that's something they offer in like the credit card club points program. I've never got a freaking certificate for points from Bass Pro Shops. No, that's never been a part of anything. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about there. But they're talking about certificates, and yeah, they expire after a certain amount of time, which, by the way, none of them knew what magical amount of time period they expired. And whether it was from the date of purchase or date of account inactivity, or none of them knew. All they were telling me was that it was fact that they expire and they don't put points on rewards cards anymore. One person went as far as to say they had never done that. My response is, really? Are you sure about that? Because strike one with Bass Pro Shops, which happened years prior, oh, they put them on a freaking card, a nice fat amount. You want to know why? Now, I probably should have given Bass Pro Shops the finger the first time this happened, but I didn't, because I'm a sucker for tackle and I'm a sucker for second chances. But let me tell you what happened. I was a preferred rewards member, which means I was at their top tier of the rewards points program. They have a couple nights a year where they bring up their preferred rewards members, wine them, dine them with a little food spread, give away some prizes, and usually some kind of extra discounts or bonus points on their purchases for that evening. They saved all their drawings for the last bit of the evening right near close. The grand prize come around, which was a pair of binoculars that was worth several $100s. Finally, it come time for the grand prize. They drew name number 1. They called it again and again and again. They gave several minutes. They announced it over the loudspeaker. No one shows up. They call a second name. Same thing occurs. A third name. Same thing occurs. I want to say we were at named 4 or 5 before yours truly's name finally gets called. I was excited too. I was counting it down. I knew with every single person's name that had been called that wasn't showing up, my name had better chances. Everyone's ready to get out of there. They give me the binoculars. Everybody claps. I head for the doors. I am on my way, literally out the freaking doors, when a member of management runs up behind me, puts their hand kind of on my shoulder and says, yeah, we're going to need those back. Pardon me? They proceeded to tell me they were going to need them back because the guy's name who had been drawn previous to me finally showed up down there and was ready to claim his prize. Hold on a minute. So you're telling me they call his name several times, they give him a certain amount of time to show up, he doesn't show up. They announce yet another name. I win them, I'm on the way out the door. The guy on the mobility scooter, the disabled guy, you're going to run up, take the prize from him and go give it to Jackwagon that couldn't be down there for the prizes to be announced? I mean, seriously, screw me and the other guys down there that were actually ready and waiting, right? I mean, I guess we're chopped liver. So I was a bit pissed. I mean, obviously. Where I come from, you don't do that. You don't award a prize and then snatch it away from them. You might be stuck in an awkward position if you really want to do it of giving out 2 prizes. but you don't kind of shaft one person over the other. It's just not cool. I reluctantly handed the binoculars back to the gentleman and said, okay, not a good look, but whatever. I turned the mobility scooter back around, went right straight up to customer service, and exercised my right as a rewards member to get the gift card with the points. I'm like, I want every freaking penny on this gift card. Why? Because what happened there was crap, and I'm done with you. So they put all the points to the last penny on the gift card, and I left. And I did not go back to Bass Pro Shops for a little bit of time. Now fast forward back to the other evening. They're still telling me, well, we don't put points on a gift card anymore. Maybe if it was $5 or $10 or $20, maybe we'd work something out, but you know, not $45. Really? Says here you do. At this point, I'm starting to get a little warmed up, because I apparently, in my experience, know more about their job than they do. And currently, they're the ones getting paid to know their job. It's at this point, a couple of the employees are getting a bit snarky. Basically, I feel like they're talking down to me because, you know, everybody knows more than the fat guy on the mobility scooter, right? I mean, forget the fact. Let's just look over the fact that everything they've said up until this point has been wrong. So, I finally lost it.
As you can see, the more you around, the more you're going to find out.
At this point, they're telling me to calm down. They don't like the fact that I'm upset. You know what? I'm kind of wanting other customers to hear me at this point, because I have these points because I've spent a ton of money there. And I don't like when my money is screwed with. Sorry, folks, especially some of the younger generation. I like actually getting what it is I pay for. And in this situation, I paid for those points. At this point, they're all over the place. They expire after a certain period of time. Maybe they go inactive. We don't know if it's inactivity or from the date of purchase or certificates or, you know, fairy godmothers and fairy dust out of the sky. No one knows anything about anything. So with things completely melting down, I finally get a hold of the manager on duty because the underlings were, woohoo. Well, talk to the manager on duty. They don't remember points ever being put on gift cards either. They think they expire after some point of inactivity, maybe, or something too. We don't know. Still not getting anywhere. So I was able to confirm that my points, including that night's purchase, had been added to my rewards card. They were all there and accounted for. So before Bass Pro decided to magically abscond with my points again, I picked up some merchandise and proceeded to get the hell out of Dodge before they disappeared. The next day, I had to call the general manager to get a hold of somebody up the ladder. Talked with the general manager. The general manager informed me, no, points do not expire. Really? I didn't know that. The general manager did say that points do go inactive after a while, although there was still no determination as to what point they go inactive. Shouldn't we know that? Besides, guess what? Even if there was some magical inactivity date, my points wouldn't apply. You want to know why? Let's take a look. The manager also confirmed what I've already showed you, that yeah, you can put the rewards points on a gift card. Really? Who knew? Would it be the former employee that hadn't been there in a while, or all these underlings that think that they know something they know nothing about? To add insult to injury, I get the merchandise home and find out one of the things I purchased is missing parts. To the general manager's credit, they did arrange to get me a replacement. That's good. I give credit where credit's due. Hey guys, if you're going to gripe about customer service, always give credit where it's due. I'm giving credit there. As far as the other merchandise is concerned, you know what happens whenever you buy merchandise with points? If you return it, it goes on a gift card. So there's that. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this was strike 3. Strike 2 happened in between, of course, from the event way back on the binoculars and the other night. It was another awards member night where I won another grand prize. This one was a guide trip. The guy who I won it from became increasingly difficult to get a hold of, and then was wanting to renege on the deal when he remembered my size. Now keep in mind, I was a hell of a lot smaller then. I was easier getting in and out of boats, but he didn't want me in the back of his boat. So I ended up having, in a very uncomfortable situation, take that very embarrassing tidbit of information back to Bass Pro. They had to work it out with corporate, and we did arrange to get me on another boat with another guide of my choosing. Someone who didn't mind a big guy being in the back of the boat. I'm glad I stuck to my guns there, because if I wouldn't have got to go on the last guide trip we got to go with Silly Pup. Here's a short clip of Baby Dog looking up over the side to find out where our next fishing spot was. So, Bass Pro fixed that one. You know, I had to jump through a lot of hoops. It was really embarrassing when somebody just doesn't want you in the back of their boat, but whatever, right? I've fished with jerks before, and, you know, probably won't be the last time. Again, I give credit where credit is due. Even though they fixed it, it's still kind of a second strike because, man, it's embarrassing. It's humiliating, right? Well, that brings us up to strike 3 of the other night. It seems like nobody knows what to do. No one knows the policy. I mean, at least the general manager finally admitted that, yes, you can put them on a card. They don't expire, even though the manager claimed they go inactive. I've not seen any proof of that. I've showed you my account was anything but inactive. Either way, it's accumulation of things. It's been going on steadily for years now, and it's just at a point where I don't need it. I still have a big Bass Pro gift card that I'm going to find a way to use somehow, right? I'm not going to let it go to waste. And no, none of you guys can have it. But that's that. You know, I like getting what I pay for. I like good customer service. And like I said, back when I worked there, it was an incredible experience. Awesome. Even with all the bad sense, I still look back on it with very fond memories. I worked with a good team. We had a ton of fun. We did a ton of good. But it is what it is. It's just not the same anymore. Now, am I here to push a different store instead of Bass Pro Shops? No. No, I'm not. It's not what this is about. I'm just telling you why I don't feel comfortable spending my money there anymore. I don't like having this uneasy feeling if my points I'm stacking up are going to be there from one time to the next. I just don't. Not why I spend my money there. And as far as product knowledge is concerned, while I was in the fishing department, I overheard another customer talking to an employee. The customer said that he was in there to buy this crawfish trap that his sons had picked out online. The employee was attentive and said, "What does it look like?" The gentleman described that it was long and kind of cylindrical and had cones on the ends. And the employee says, "That's not a crawfish trap, it's a minnow trap." And under most circumstances, he would be absolutely right. When those things first come out, they're like bait fish minnow traps. However, the customer was right. This particular one, round cylindrical with cones on the end that looks like a mesh minnow trap, Bass Pro Shops is marketing as a crawfish trap. Has their logo, their band around it, and says crawfish trap. So the kids at home playing on the computer to send dad for the toy knew more about the item than the guy that puts it on the shelf and walks past it every day. He's not wrong that they've always been called minnow traps. And he's right. Generally speaking, it's a minnow trap. It's y'all's brand, dude. It's y'all's wording, y'all's product. Crawfish trap. Okay, is that being too anal? Probably. It irks me. Because if I'm going to be talking about something like that, I'd like to get it right. Anyway, here we are. I'm going to find out what to do with that gift card, then I'm outie. I'm not here to push another store on you. It's none of my business. Y'all spend your money where you want to spend your money. I'm just telling you why I don't feel comfortable at Bass Pro Shops anymore. It is what it is. I know I've been long-winded as usual, so thank you so much for bearing with me. Please like, share, subscribe on the way out the door. Find you somewhere to go get your tackle, whether it's Bass Pro or not. Get it together, get out there in the water, and most importantly, keep it wet.